Just a few more things on this project here. So I did do a couple layers where I just wet down with my hockey brush this whole shape. I went from the sky down to this hill, up and over that hill. So sort of this kind of area, and dropped in a little bit of a mix of the Quinn Rose and Peacock Blue, and got it a little bit of violet up here and a little bit over here. I let the violet kind of come down over these two hills to sort of soften them up. So that's the applying paint to kind of a big shape to over a couple different shapes, and that's a fun effect. It can be a little bit tricky to get the brush to behave. There's a couple other brushes I might try introducing as well. You see, you see this. I'm playing with a couple different things. The palette's going to be a little bit odd, so pay no attention to that baby poop looking. Did I just say that? I think I did. And I'm going to do a couple more things on this. The first thing, and then I'm going to let it go. The first thing I want to do is I added a little bit more peacock blue over to this side of the hill, but I wanted to get this side a little bit darker and stronger. So I'm going to bring in just a touch of watery peacock blue for the whole shape. That brush probably has a little bit of red in it, which not necessarily a terrible thing. But I'm going to do some watery peacock blue. And this is going to be just mostly this first mix is it's just going to be to wet that shape, because I know the whole thing I want to get a little bit lighter. That's a lot of paint. This brush is probably a bit big for this. If you guys have the wherewithal, and by wherewithal I mean the financial means, to get some additional brushes. I do really think this black velvet is a great overall brush, and I know I'm going to have my students starting to get round 4, which I'm going to bring in just a sec. Don't want that part to get too dark, but this is the 12 that I'm using right now, and it'd be nice to have. I'd feel more confident, comfortable with a number 10 in this size of a shape with this kind of detail. So partly for this shape, I just really wanted to get a little bit more differentiation, a little more darker color up towards the top of that hill. So mixing just a little bit stronger of the peacock blue. round number 4. Introduce that kind of swishing it around. This is it's the round number 4 black velvet, and when you start sort of getting a little bit more confident with the brushes, you'll start sort of being able to figure out. I know I've talked about it both being an absorber and a dispenser, sort of a sponge as well as a paintbrush, depending on how much water and paint is in the brush versus the paper or whatever it's touching. You will get to the point where it's a little bit of both, and you can sort of hop around on whatever shape you happen to be working on. And shift a little bit of color over to one spot, pick up a little bit in one area, shift that over to. So, yeah. Okay. I am gonna let that dry.